Welcome, everyone, to the jam session. Doesn't that just sound, doesn't that just roll off the tongue? Jam session. Just ask Michael. We're going to jam here today, and we are going to get your hottest and most pressing questions answered. We are going to talk about how to make this your best year ever and why there is so much optimism right now in the marketplace. It is off the charts. What happened to how everybody
I
felt
hope
in
you didn't go over
September?
$50 and not take the $5 off coupon.
I agree about the $50. If you're arguing about $50, you need to go do something else. I'm telling you, don't worry about 50. Just pay the $50 and keep moving. It's important, people. So good to have everybody. Please go on mute if you're here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to connect to our Facebook Live. We're going to invite some of our Gen members in. Take 1 second here. Maybe. Oh, I love it when this happens. Well, now we are going to go live on my own personal page. How about that? I do not have permission to live stream. I have no idea why that is. All right, we are not going to live stream. We're going to record and post this, I guess. That's so fun. There we go. All right, so we are going to have to figure out what the heck is going on with Facebook. I do not have permission to share on Facebook. So guess what? It's a private show today. Let's go. All right, Sherry, see if you can maybe work on that in the background, right? All right. So first and foremost, I want to thank you because there are a lot of things that you could be doing right now. And you are here with me today, learning and trying to make yourselves better and improving yourselves. And listen, we didn't smack this up with how to get 90 listings in 90 days or how to get your first listing this year or how to get a buyer or how to get a borrower or how to get a new client. No, it's a jam session. Just ask Michael. And what I love about this is the ones that we have in the room, looking around this room, are the implementers, the people who are literally getting things done. And there's a couple of things that you need to know about questions. First of all, is number one, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. So always be looking to maybe tweak your questions, ask better questions. But there are two types of questions that we need to be aware of. There are questions of avoidance. And questions of avoidance, as a teacher and a coach, I've heard a lot of questions of avoidance over the years. And questions of avoidance are, I'm going to ask enough questions till I get to the point where I don't have to do what I'm asking about, right? One of them is like, oh, that won't work in my market, or, oh, that takes money, or, oh, that, right? And you're going to ask so many questions until you finally found, oh, it might hurt the first week of working out. Forget it. I don't want to be sore. I don't want to hurt. I don't want to hurt. So I'm not going to do it. Now, I'm preaching the choir here a little bit, is that a lot of you do not ask questions of avoidance. You ask what are called questions of mastery. And questions of mastery is where you need to stay. Stay in questions of mastery. Questions of mastery, there's only one difference between questions of avoidance and questions of mastery. The one difference is you've done it. You've done whatever you're asking about. So when you've done it, you start asking different questions. When you've done a housewarming party, right, Jesse, right? Some of you, right? When you've done a housewarming party, you ask a lot different questions than the people who are literally asking questions about housewarming parties to the point where they're like, ooh, I don't know, right? And so the bottom line is we need to be asking questions of mastery. We need to be asking, how do we hone this? How do we get a little bit better? And in some cases, by getting a little better, we get a lot better. So that's where I want to start with that kind of announcement. Now, who has a question? Let's go right at it. Let's not spend the whole time speaking and having Michael Maher just riff in the jam session. So Edie's like, I'm telling you right now. So Edie was literally, this was Family Feud, and she had her hand on the raise hand. She was like, Family Feud. It was like, all right, so 100 people were surveyed. She went, bang. I know that answer. So Edie, I love that you maximize the times on these, and I really appreciate it. And you're an implementer. So always glad to take your questions.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, Michael. Well, I appreciate direct access to you because I want to pick your brain. But my question is, I did some one-on-ones last week. I tried the stack, and it went well. But a couple
went well, and
a couple other people I talked to. Of course, they're very well-connected individuals, so they have a trusted realtor that they have a relationship with. And when I asked them the question, who would you, if you, one of your neighbors, the one of your neighbors question, in a very kind way, they took it as me just wanting information. And then I didn't really know where to go with it. I said, well, I'd like to be your backup, but I think I could say something better.
So first of all, kudos for you implementing, right? So you said, hey, listen, if you had a friend or neighbor who is looking to sell their home, who would you recommend they call first? And they had a name for you.
Well, all of them do, because they're all pretty well-established people in the community.
Yeah. So they have a name for something. They don't necessarily maybe have a name for everything, right? So it's all right. So they said a name, and what do we say when they say a name? No matter what the name is, what do we say?
I said I don't know that person, but I'm sure there's a lot of good realtors in Austin.
All right. Well, so open to a little coaching suggestions.
Of course, yeah.
Always go with questions, right? Instead of assuming they know someone or assuming, here's what you kind of did. You kind of talked yourself out of the connection. So the thought here is, how do you know that person, right? So even if it's a name you know, I want to know if I've got a shot. If they say it's my cousin, then guess what? I'm probably going to have a tougher in on that. But if they say, you know what, we've mixed in networking, or I've heard about them, or they live around the corner, or it's kind of a loose, then I'm going to move in. Like, I'm going to try to make sure that I can have the opportunity there. But if it's a relative, or it's somebody that, they've used 3 times on 3 consecutive houses, then it's like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. So you would refer them. Have you referred them?
Have you referred them? That's a good question.
Well, now it's only a good question if you start with, how do you know the person? Right.
Well, I actually did ask that too. Some of them, one of them had met through networking.
Yeah. So that's a loose tie. You've got an option there, right? I mean, what are you doing? You're networking with them.
Yeah.
So the way I'm always thinking is, how can I have a closer, more valuable relationship here? So if somebody said, well, I've been networking. Oh, well, how many one-to-ones have you done with them? How many one-to-one? I mean, because what does that do? Edie, are you in a one-to-one?
Yeah.
So if they've done no one-to-ones, you're instantly in a better position. Would you agree?
Yes.
Right. So I think it's going to be, I mean, it's so great that this is the jam session and it's all about questions, because if I could wave a magic wand on everybody here, I would just say, be in a questioning mind at all times. Be ready to ask questions at all times. And it's not, don't have the answers. It's not about having the answers. It's about having the right questions. And that's what we really need to, I want to ask questions until I get an opening, right? I'm opportunistic. I'm looking, and then, all right. So I don't want to make this whole jam session about one-to-ones, but they are critical and they are the top of the communication pyramid. So it does make a lot of sense. And kudos to you for doing them. But the other thing I would say is that I would, if it, let's say they live in my neighborhood. Oh, okay. So if there was a friend or neighbor in your neighborhood, you would refer them for that. Yes. And they're like, yes. Okay, great. For your neighborhood, that's fantastic. There are neighborhood specialists all over our city. But here's what I want you to know. I work the entire Marietta area. I work the entire Overland Park area. I don't just work one neighborhood because this is my full-time job. This is what I do all the time. So I spend all day long in Marietta working in Marietta or Overland Park, Kansas, or whatever, where Austin, Texas. I work Austin. I really focus on Austin. And I have the ability to do that because I work full-time hours. So here's the thing. Outside of your neighborhood, what would it take for me to be the professional that you look to recommend when it comes to that chance?
What would it take for me to be the professional? That's what I was looking for. I think I missed that. I
That's-
probably need to watch the video again.
Well, remember, there's 4.5 responses. There's 4.5 responses to whatever they say. So they say, everybody that's new here, we're literally giving you a PhD in referral mastery system right now. But it's the chosen one question is you want to find out if you could be the chosen one when it comes to referrals for that person. Whatever your profession is, this works for you. And for real estate, which is what Edie is, it's hey, listen, if you had a friend or neighbor who was looking to sell their home, who would you recommend they call first? Question mark, right? If you had a friend or neighbor who's looking to sell their house, who would you recommend they call first? And they're going to give you 4.5 answers. Number one is they're going to say, let's start with, they say, I don't know, because that's the number one answer I get. I don't know. There's your answer. Your answer is, what would it take for me to be that professional? What would it take for me to be that professional? Please notice that professional is a double entendre there. It means that professional that they refer, and it also means that professional. What does it take to be that professional? Like, what would it take to be character, competent, and communication for that role? What do I need to do to achieve that role, right? So they're going to say, I don't know, right? And then maybe they say a name, right? So when they say a name, they're going to say, you're always responding with, how do you know that person? How do you know James? How do you know Cindy? How do you know Edie, right? And they're going to answer you back. So they could say a low producer, somebody you've never heard of. They could say a top producer. You might get that, right? And then they're going to say a name you've never heard of. Listen, everybody, this is the half. And this is how I got 2 of my best referral sources in my life, is by being inquisitive and curious and questioning and not answering and not assuming I don't have it. So I said, listen, if you had a friend or neighbor who was looking to sell their house, who would you recommend they call first? I heard the name Michael Pierce. Okay. How do you know Michael Pierce? And they were like, Michael's my financial planner. And he's kind of the financial planner to the stars in my area. And he is the guy that I would go to. If somebody's going to move, they need to make sure it's part of their financial plan. So I would have them talk to Michael. Well, what am I going to do right now? I am looking for an intro to Michael. And guess what? I got an intro to Michael and I got an intro to Scott. And those two ended up being, in fact, Scott is a current client. I mean, Scott has made me millions of dollars. I mean, that's the truth. Bottom line, he's referred me and he's spent money with us and he's done a lot. And I don't mean Scott Edwards. It's another guy. So who, by the way, Scott's done pretty well with us too. But the bottom line is I learned about a financial planner. You might learn about a CPA. You might learn about a friend who's really successful. So, and then I've given you 3.5 responses. I've given you, I don't know, average agent, top producer, and then the half, which is somebody that's not a real estate agent at all. And then the last one they might say is you. They might say you. And at that point, you're like, thank you so much. What would you tell someone about what we do? And I think that's the thing that I want all of you to know about the referral mastery system. We have an answer for everything, but the key isn't the answer. The key is the question. We literally have an answer for everything. We do. It just takes practice, and it takes, and here's the thing, Edie, how'd those one-to-ones go?
Well, they went well. One person said it would be me.
Yeah, boom. That's a success. So here's the other thing, right? What, did you get them stacked?
Yeah, I did. I was able to do the hardest part of stacking them, like it's okay for the middle person because the next person comes, but the last person just would not, I couldn't get them, I couldn't end the meeting.
Yeah. Now you found out why I stack.
Yeah.
I'm the worst in the world, Edie, at stopping meetings on time. I'm going to do it today. I promise. But it's like, you're exactly right. So what you've got to do is you've got to let them know you've got an appointment somewhere else, right? Disengage, go to the bathroom and hide until they leave, and then go out and get your stuff and go, right? So that's part of the art, is learning how these things end, right? And here's the thing I want everybody to know. Don't have 1.5 2-hour meetings. You will lose the juice. You will lose the energy. That's the thing about a first date. You don't want it to be for too long. You don't want it to be, you want there to still be some interesting stuff about you. Ladies and gentlemen, I know dating. I haven't done it for 30 years, but I freaking know how to date. I'm just kidding. I don't have a clue how to date, but I will tell you that I've seen my son make this mistake over and over again. He hangs out for 4 hours. By that time, they talked about everything they know at 15 years old. Seriously. So there's no interest level. There's no rest of the story. So Edie, the bottom line is keep them to 30 minutes to an hour and just leave them wanting more, right? Did you do the 333 afterwards?
Writing notes, is that what that is?
Well, it's text message, email, and notes. Send them
I
a
did the
text message,
notes.
send them an email. So you still have time. You could do it right now.
Okay,
I'm a fan of do it now.
333.
All right,
Okay,
Edie, we
thank
got to
you.
get to other questions. We
right,
could
thank
literally, I could spend, I mean, because then your PS in the handwritten note is going to be for them to text you, right? And then you're going to text them back an invitation to something. Are you going to the chamber event next weekend? Are you coming to my whatever, right? The thing about relationships, it leads to another question. You always need a what's next with the ones you want to stay in relationship with. Remember, there's always a what's next, or that relationship is doomed to wither and die. That's why on your first date, you want to invite them on the second date. If they say no, or I'm not sure, there's not going to be a second date. If they say, you know what, I'd love to hang out with you next Friday, then you've got a shot. For those of you that are single, I know there's so many of you out there that are single, so I'm here to help. I don't know if we don't have very many single people in the group. I'm sorry. I would love to be a better matchmaker, but you guys have already done well enough on your own. All right, Scott Edwards, you were second, and then Helena, we'll get to yours. Scott, welcome to Jam, unless he's in the car. All right, he's gonna have to wait.
Hey, everybody. Sorry about, yep, I'm here. Yep, sorry. I'm multitasking, not very well. All right, so I have a question around grand openings.
Yes.
So
or launch party. Yep.
Launch parties, grand openings.
Or grand openings. Either one's good.
Cool. Okay. So I have an agent who, she's a doctor. She really is a doctor. She's got a PhD in education. And she is also, she does real estate, and she really wants to do her insurance that she does, life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know what the thought was. I mean, I thought combining them was the best way to go. Separating them seemed like it was made more confusing than it was benefit her, I think. So I was just curious to what your thoughts are on doing a grand opening for someone who has like 2 jobs that they do.
Yeah. So what Does she have the most momentum in right now? Does she have more momentum
Okay.
with the life
Okay.
insurance aspect or the real estate aspect? Do you know that answer?
I do. Real estate. She has life insurance. She has a team
Yeah.
that she would refer the stuff to. Yes.
For both, for real estate and life insurance? Or
So for real
or just the
estate, no,
life
she would
insurance?
just yeah, just the life insurance. Just
Okay.
life insurance.
So here's what I would do, right? And you know, you're as creative as anybody on the planet, so you take it and mold it however the hell you want, right? So, but here's what I would do. I would focus on the real estate. I would lead with the real estate because that's the most. Here's the thing. Every consumer in the world is a real estate potential client, period. So I would do a grand opening on the real estate side, and then my door prize entry forms would all have the question, would you be open to a life insurance, whatever? And then I would refer those out to the life insurance team, but I would lead with real estate, real estate, real estate. And honestly, there's more short term and maybe long term money in real estate, but she can make that good long term money in the life insurance. So it's kind of a lagging income source anyway. So I would lead with real estate and lag with life insurance. And the people don't know that she's not the life insurance person because she would just be handing that
Right.
off to her team who would handle it. And I mean, here's the thing that I want everybody to know. I mean, this is the power of events. Could you imagine charging admission for events? $5, $100. Family reunion is $899 for a general admission ticket. Imagine you charging $900 for people to get into, and does it happen? It happens all the time, right? So imagine charging admission, and then imagine that you have the event and your sponsor partners pay you 20, 30 grand more than the actual event's going to cost, right? Now I'm talking big picture here, right? So then I want you to imagine that you get 25 referrals from this, and they are me's and they are referrals. They are strong. I mean, you got 50 leads, but 25 referrals. Now, I'm not done yet, right? Now, let's imagine that when you refer out, because you had the sponsor partner questions on your door prize entry form, what if you referred out people and you got paid a commission for referring out all of those leads and referrals to those different sources? Your financial planner will pay you. There are people who will pay you. And I'm not done yet. What if you had an RSVP Google Doc where on that form you had some data collecting questions like email and so and phone number, but you also had maybe a referral question or two on the RSVP Google Doc? Listen, Sherry, this is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, this is important stuff I'm talking about here, and God bless you. But here's the thing. Also, not that I am always looking at Sherry's window here. I'm just telling you, I just happened to catch that. I'm staring at her. That's what I do. Now, I'm not done yet. After the event, a couple of weeks after the event, you send a follow-up survey, which says, how'd you like the event? Rate the event on a scale of 1 to 10. And you also had questions on the follow-up survey about referrals. What if you put on the follow-up survey questions about potential sponsors? Like you wanted a car dealership, or you wanted someone who deals in phones, or you wanted somebody who does whatever, a podiatrist, right? You had a friend who was a podiatrist. They were hesitant to ask to refer. And by the way, this is a true story. And you go, hey, listen, would you be interested in the services of a podiatrist if you've ever had foot, issues or problems? Would you be interested in that, or anyone you know? And guess what? You come out of that follow-up survey with 10 people who want a podiatrist help. And you go to the podiatrist and say, hey, listen, you need to sponsor my next event. And they're like, well, why? I have 10 referrals for you right now. What if they actually met you? What if they actually enjoyed it, right? So I just want to paint that picture of how powerful this can be, right? All right, Helena. Scott, I hope I helped.
I have an easy, quick question, and it's the question we've all been talking about. So I figured I may as well just ask, do we have dates confirmed, or are you still working on them for RMS that we're all excited for in Atlanta at the end of September? And I love you, Sherry.
So Helena, I love I love that you are our accountability partner for RMS. That's what I love about you. So we are still looking, and we have narrowed it down to 3 hotels. We are now in the negotiations process to hopefully get that below, like, go rob a mint to throw an event scenario. So we are working on that. So still end of September 25th through the 27th, 24th through the 26th, still looking at those dates.
Yeah,
Why?
and
Because it's
just to
the
say
awesome-
too, one of our biggest hangups right now that we're really trying to negotiate hard on
Yeah, be careful
is-
what you share here, Sweeney.
is the hotel rate. We're trying to get that hotel rate down.
Yeah,
for you
we're
guys
negotiating
because-
for you, people.
Yeah.
I just want you to
like,
know
that's
that.
our biggest sticking point right now, honestly. There's always 1,000 things going on in Atlanta, and the venue that we really want to hold this at, which is going to be super fun, they are very proud of their hotel rates, and so we are, honestly, that's where we're stuck, is we're trying to get that hotel rate down for you guys. It has nothing even to do on our end. It's the hotel rate for everyone that wants to come. So we're trying to make it as affordable as possible. So
Yeah,
that's our biggest sticking point.
Yeah, we would share a lot of those details, but you would be astounded at what this team goes through.
I can just imagine.
Yeah. So yes, so it's still looking like that 24th through the 26th, 25th through the 27th. And we're avoiding Hurricane Alley this year. So
Please, that would be really great. And if you have not been, or even if you have been, mark that week off on your calendar, because it was the best ever 2 years ago. And the people who wanted to go last year and we didn't have it, we all missed it so much. And that's all we talk about. So thank you, Michael. And thank you, Sherry, for the update. And again, mark it on your calendar, you guys, and then we can all meet each other and have fun.
thanks, Elena.
You're
Diane
welcome.
Peck out of beautiful Orlando, Florida. We're all jealous of you right now.
Don't be. It's really cold here.
Yeah. So
For
how
us
really
anyway.
cold is really cold, Diane? Tell us how cold it is.
It's in the 60s. So that's kind
60s.
of cold for
Hey, Jack, the guy. Jack, come off mute. What is it in Kansas City right now? 1 degree in Kansas City.
no.
Yeah.
No, it's sorry, I was holding my finger. I was trying to find the mute button.
Oh,
Right now it is 35, but 2 days ago it was a -11. So
negative 11. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Welcome
It
to
was really bad.
Antarctica South. That's awesome.
yeah, it was colder than the North Pole that day.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
In
Yeah.
Indianapolis until yesterday, it has been 25 below chill factor.
Yeah, that's and we don't even have North people in here yet. Right. I mean, where's Michigan, right? Dave DeBryan, what is it in Michigan?
We're at 20 degrees.
20. Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
So
but it was 2 yesterday.
yeah, that's crazy. So by the way, Dave and a few of you have already done this. I don't know where you're all from. So if you haven't learned how to change your name on Zoom yet, do me a favor and change your name. You just have to right click on and tell us where you're from, because people are looking around right now and they're going to want to know like where you're from for referrals. This is the greatest referral people in the country right here. I refer with confidence to this group. So, Craig Johnson is in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I know that. Why do I know that? Because it's on his name, right? All right, Diane, you had a question. By the way,
So my
kudos on
question-
your implementation. All I hear are great things about what you're doing.
Oh, you already know. Okay. It is an honor to talk to you, Michael. Thank you.
Well,
I
you
have
can
to-
go for an hour if you're going to talk like that. So effusive
so I've
praise
been
always
writing-
goes a long way with me. I'm just telling you.
Okay, I'm going to go right to the point. I've been
Yeah.
writing the letters to expireds and with
Canceled and withdrawals.
Anyway,
right?
Yes, and so after 30 letters, I had one response, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
I have yet to get an appointment. I did talk to him, had a great conversation with the guy. He said he was gonna get together with his wife to get me an appointment to view the property.
Okay.
Because I did say to him that my investor was from out of state and he wanted me to view the property. Yes, so I'm just a little nervous on how to present it in a way where, okay,
You ready?
so the investor goes away, he's not interested. How do I like
Let's get
move
first
along
things
on that
first.
conversation?
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
So number one is get the appointment. So here's what you're going to text them as soon as we're done here. Hey, I'm going to be in your neighborhood this afternoon. Would 2 to 3 be better, or would 5 to 6 be better for me to spin by or come by or drop by? Right. So just let them know you're going to be in the neighborhood.
Okay,
So the first thing is you got to get a tour, and you're going to win them over, Diane. I already like you and I hardly know you. Right. So you're going to walk through and they're going to like you. Right. And then it's like, all right, then send me the details on the property. And I mean that. I want to know, because not only am I maybe interested, this has already happened, already bought a property through this system. Second thing is I can coach you on what to do next. And what you
Okay.
want to do next is go, hey, listen, this wasn't exactly right for my investor, but I think it might be right for the market. So, are you interested in putting it back on the market? Let's talk about that. And I would do a full-blown listing presentation and make it happen.
on the spot.
Not on the first spot.
Okay, I
second
didn't think so. Okay,
Yeah.
just wanted to
Yeah.
clear that up.
Unless you feel the opening's there. Sometimes they're hot to trot. Sometimes they're just like, oh my gosh, we'd love to get this, sold. And well, let's get it sold. Whether my investor's interested or not, let's talk about next steps to get it on the market. Do you know the next steps to get it on the market?
I have a pretty good idea.
Okay, no, the next steps. You know the next steps, and then you're going to figure it out on the way down, right? It's like, do you know how to build a parachute? No, but I'm going to build it on the way down, right?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Get the appointment, and then get the
All
listing.
right, I will.
And by the way, if they're not available today, this afternoon, then you're going to be in their neighborhood tomorrow afternoon. And would over lunch be better, or would, later in the afternoon be better?
Okay.
And just
Got it.
keep knocking on the door, so to speak, without knocking on the door. Right?
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And just let them know. I talked to my investor today, which is the truth. And like, I'd literally like to see your property.
Got it.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Sherry, have you been checking chat? Any questions in the chat? Or is it just Angela Gribbin's like 75 posts and then a couple people else? I'm just kidding. Angela loves her chat. She's so good at that. Like, she's so good at that. Like, all right, more questions. Use the time wisely.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, Jesse.
So I'm pretty active hosting the the housewarming parties, and I do get like the last one I hosted, there was about 30 people that showed up, and
That's a great
I got
turnout.
one. Yeah, it is. And fortunately, a lot of their guests came late. Well, after the door prizes and the entry had been over. But one of them did fill the entry form even after the fact, and he was
They did what?
in,
They what with the entry form?
he did fill it out. He just filled it out because he saw it on the desk and he filled it out, and he put that he's interested in buying, he's interested. And then he did, and then so I went up to him, hey, I noticed you filled out the entry form. He goes, yeah, we started looking, but then we kind of stopped. Figured the rates are going too high, and so we kind of just stopped. And he goes, well, you know what? I can, give you, the conversation unfolded to where we can give him option. He was excited. He gave me his contact. There's an open dialogue going, texting back and forth. But for some reason, I'm having a hard time, like with this particular one, converting. And I was thinking to maybe, I don't know what your thoughts are on this. This is where I kind of want to, my question is going to. Would you advise for me to call the person I hosted the housewarming party and kind of see how he can maybe say some good things about me to that particular person to that way he can still kind of more engage more to where I can get the appointment, because he hasn't commit to the appointments. What it is, he texts me back. The nice thing is that he does text me back, but he
Yeah.
doesn't commit to the appointment.
So you've got communication going, right? So,
Yes.
so do you know what he's looking for? Is it a buyer or seller?
It's a buyer, and I
So
do know what he's looking for
you
in
do?
a
So
sense
I
of
would,
house, a house,
I would do
single
an
family
MLS
dwelling.
search. I would do an MLS search. I would find 3 houses and I would let them know that we need to go see these 3 houses. When can they go see them?
Even though he's not pre-approved, because I tend to try to
Yes,
get him
I
pre-approved.
would do it just to get him off the fence. You'll see if he's a real person or not, right? I would do it. I
Okay,
mean,
so
what's
like his-
three houses is going to take you an hour and a half. I mean, I think
Not a
you've
problem.
got it. And here's the other thing. There is nothing like when a buyer sees a home that, I mean, there's talking about it, and then, you know, and if you could, is there any new construction around you that's in his price range?
I don't. That's the thing is, I don't know his price range, like because of the pre-approval. We don't
Well,
know, but I mean,
does he
a
have an
house in that
idea?
area, I'm sure you can get it from him.
Well, the best
I'm
thing
sure
you
I
can do
can-
is take them through new homes. I'm just telling you, there's nothing like the smell of new wood. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's a magical thing. It is.
And there is some new construction going on over there. There is
Yeah.
some where
So here's what I do. Text them. There's some new construction going on in your area. We're not quite sure of your price range yet, but it might be in your price range. Let's go look at it tomorrow. Then you can also
I like that
register them
idea.
with the new home, right? You can register them with the
Yeah.
model home.
Yeah, that's easy commission there. And then the
Well, I
other
don't know
thing
about
too
that,
is we're
but there's no such thing as easy commission. I've never been
Well.
overpaid in my life.
The other thing we definitely got going on here on February 4th is we're doing a buyer seminar and of course incorporating the raffles, the charity, and I'm kind of co-hosting it with the girls on coaching.
Yeah.
But what makes it kind of challenging is that I feel a little bit overwhelmed to also do the I Love You Latte event.
Yeah. So don't do 2,
And
right? So do 1. And how are you
Yeah,
doing on attendees on the buyer event?
oh, awesome. We get about 20 to 30 people. Yeah, I think the last one was 22.
Remember the confirmation, right? Confirm at the end to make sure
Yes.
they show up. So did you have a question
Yeah,
on
they
that?
No, I just the question was that if I should just stick with one event in February versus, because I've done the I Love You Lattes. I do them pretty much every year,
Yeah.
but this would be one that I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna do a buyer seminar instead. Then just to not be overwhelmed.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
I think you
Okay.
go with one event, especially one where you've got momentum. Remember the 4 questions that I ask myself daily, everybody, right? Where do I have momentum? Where do I have opportunity? Or where do I have momentum? Where's my biggest opportunity? What's the one thing such that by doing it, everything else is easier and or unnecessary, right? And then what's my biggest challenge right now? And so he's got momentum with the buyer side. So I would definitely, and by the way, I would also follow up with the last 22 you had and invite them to this one. Keep that momentum. And you're like, well, they already saw that. Well, maybe they need to see it again. How many of you read 7L and then you had to read it again? Right. So good stuff, Jesse. Stacy, Cheshire, you were next, and then Jack, and then Lynn. Cheshire Cat. That's what I think of.
Hey, thanks so much, Michael. It took a lot for me to get on here and even approach this question because it seems so simple. And I've heard people say, well, if you're having problems like this, maybe this isn't the job for you.
Wow.
I do great at open houses.
Yeah.
I do great with people. I have no problem talking to strangers. I think I don't know why I have this stumbling block in my head that, I don't think people want to talk to me. And those are people I've worked with. How can I change my mindset to get over that? Because once I start, then it's like, it's not so bad. But why do I continually have that problem or that issue?
Well, people don't want to talk to me either. So I can relate to that. And honestly, I don't want to talk to them. So I think, and which, if you go deep, that's honest. That's me being just transparent and honest. And the thing is, but you know what? Our job requires us to talk to people and have people talk to us. So my suggestion is events. Are you doing events? You're doing open houses. And by the way, you said when I do an open house, I have no problem. So that tells me that you have no problem with the strangers that are attracted to the open house, and good job there. But could you imagine if these were friends and sphere and family members who came to visit you because you are giving them what they want, which is fun. You know what I mean? And that, I mean, it's bribe your tribe. You need to bribe your tribe. How do you bribe your tribe? You give them something fun. You pay for coffee, you pay for beer or wine, you pay for bowling, you pay for a game, whatever it may be. And then you don't even have to pay for it because you're going to bring in partners who help pay for those things with you. I hope you guys saw the yacht. Has that come out yet? I keep talking about Sherry Harrington's freaking podcast. It comes out next Tuesday. You're going to want to listen to it because, I mean, we're talking, I mean, it's like, I don't want to do an events like and then all of a sudden did events and it was a rate, she didn't have to talk to anybody. She just had 3 minutes where she thanked everybody and she got 15 referrals or more, so I would say events.
That's kind of my stumbling, but we're doing events, and our event is always very successful. It's a casino night, and I think that's where it is, just calling people and saying, hey, we're having this event, how are you, happy New Year's. I printed out your January call sheet that you had. I think I was just looking more for a mind shift. Once I get on there, there's no problems. I just don't know why I have problems starting.
Well, do you want them to come to the event?
Oh yeah.
Is the event going to be fun?
Oh, it's a blast.
Yeah. So, do you feel like you still have a stumbling block after thinking that it's going to be fun and you want them to come? Like, here's the thing. If like you didn't invite me and I'm actually a little pissed. I mean, right? I mean, I'm driving to a casino tomorrow. That's an hour and a half away. And you're telling me that I could have a casino night that's like just 30 minutes away? That's crazy. Right? So casino night is always fun, especially if gambling is illegal, casino night is even more fun. I'm telling you. So if you've got a state where it's really anti-gambling, having casino night is you're the bomb, right? And then if you could bootleg some liquor in and different things like that. So I mean, when is casino night?
February 10th.
Geez, perfect timing, right on Valentine's week. So I don't know I mean, are you saying that you're still having struggling just giving them a call and say, forget the January call, just call and say, I wanted to make sure that you knew about this, because if you did, I've had people tell me that they were mad that they didn't know about it. Like I just told you, I would be mad if I saw pictures of a casino night on your Facebook page that you had without me. I'm going to be upset. So you need to let everybody know about it.
Consider this your personal invite. Can I count on you to show?
Yeah. All right. And I've got part 2. You ready for part 2 of this advice that's really worked well for me?
Okay.
Is text them first. Text them and say, hey, have a quick minute. Text them first and say, hey, have a quick minute. They'll either call you or they'll say yes or no, or they'll say, call me after 5. And then you build your little after 5 list.
That's great.
There are, Tommy just wrote, and he's talking to Lynn, so pardon the conversation buster here. I was eavesdropping on Lynn and Tommy's conversation. I feel so dirty about that. But it's one of those where there's a loneliness epidemic in this country, people. There is a loneliness epidemic. People are feeling lonely. What if you could conquer that loneliness? And here's the thing, you can conquer loneliness not by having them come to your event, by just inviting them. Simply the invite conquers loneliness, right? I mean, we all want to be invited. We don't necessarily want to attend. And that's the truth. So conquer their loneliness, and don't call and say, I thought you might be lonely. Don't start with that. It won't go as well as you thought it would. But I think you text, hey, you got a minute? I wanted to, and then they're like, yeah, or they'll say, what's it about? And it's like, I just wanted you to invite you to this really cool thing. It'll take less than 2 minutes. And Stacy, become great at 2-minute conversations. Hey, did you know about our casino night? No. What? That you're doing a casino night? How cool is that? Well, I just wanted to make sure you knew about it. I'm in. Okay. I'll text you the details. Click.
Okay,
Casey, let me ask you a weird question. Can I ask you a weird question?
sure.
So I'm going to give you 4 options. Okay. I'm going to give you 4 options, but you can only pick one. So out of the following 4 options, how would your best friend, spouse, or significant other best describe you? Would they describe you as a 1, straight to the point, 2, social and outgoing, 3, steady and dependable, or are you a 4, cautious and perfectly accurate? Which would be your choice?
Probably a 2 combined with a 1.
Okay. So if you really had to choose, would it be 2, social and outgoing, or 1, steady, straight to the point?
2.
Okay. So social outgoing with a straight to the point kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would be your third? What would be your last? Tell me the one that you're like, that's not me.
4.
Cautious and perfectly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you're going to do great in real estate, right? You don't worry about the details. Contracts are foreign to you. You don't have to worry about all that crap. No, I'm just kidding. But here's the thing, right? So first of all, I would hire an SC as an assistant. I'm just throwing that out to you. But 3, 4, somebody that's steady and dependable and cautious and perfectly accurate, right? Makes great transaction coordinators. But you're going to be great at this. You're social and outgoing. You're telling me you're not social and outgoing when you're really social and outgoing.
It's just the phone calls. That's why I don't know what my problem is.
So
So
start with the text, right? The text will naturally lead to the phone call, and make your phone calls short. You're a fast paced with a fast paced kicker. 1 and 2 are fast paced. 3 and 4 are slow paced. So you're a fast paced with a fast paced kicker. So make it fast. And by the way, more people appreciate fast and bullet items than they do long damn stories. I'm just telling you, and maybe that's just me, but
well, thank you. I appreciate it.
you're welcome. Jack,
Hey, how's it going, Michael?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I just had a couple questions. I'll go through them quick. I'll bullet through them, like you just
There you
said,
go.
so I don't tell a
Nice.
long story.
You see how
But
he knew who he was talking to right there?
so I just got licensed in Kansas City, and I was just wondering, like, if you had advice as what is something that I should be doing every single day as a new realtor.
So the first thing is, are you signing up for your hot sheet? Are you checking your MLS hot sheet every day?
So I'm getting signed up for that like right now. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
that's
sure.
fun.
So like,
I just went through
um,
that with Heartland MLS myself in Kansas City. So trust me, it'll be interesting. And
yeah. So
have
I
you
have to
done the
go
new
through
member
some class.
orientation yet?
I don't.
I
No,
would
I
say
don't think
drink
so.
heavily before attending that. I'm just telling you that,
No,
like,
they did. They did just send an email for that, like literally an hour ago. They're gonna contact me for orientation.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, I
I'll
feel,
take a shot
dude, I want
beforehand.
you to just know real estate is nothing like getting licensed and going through those early trainings. I just want you to know it can be the
Yeah,
most awesome business in the world if we haven't chased you away early. So,
right.
so the things you need to do daily are get on MLS, check the hot sheets, and do that. And then write a contract a day. Fake, right? Write a
Okay.
contract a day and act like you're listing the building you live in. Act like you're listing a property, and just do the exclusive right to sell, and then do the buyer's agency agreement, right? And just
Hmm.
get used to those forms, and then write 5 contracts a week.
Okay.
Write 5, and then go over them with somebody that's experienced in Kansas City, somebody that can help you. We could help you with that, honestly.
Okay.
So, write 5 contracts a week, fake. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to start having conversations and did you knows. So you can actually be talking to your friends about your new real estate gig, and they're going to be, and it's like, did you know that 90% of all contracts in Kansas City have a home warranty attached to them? And do you guys know what a home warranty is? And then you learn about home warranties, and then you tell your friends about
Right.
home warranties. And just so you know, that is an accurate stat. 90% of
Right.
all contracts in Kansas City have a home warranty. So
Damn, that's wild.
yeah,
Well, I appreciate
which
it.
is
Thank you.
different,
Yeah.
right? In California, it's not quite as high, and then in the Northeast, it's extremely low. So,
Um,
second question.
I had sorry, yeah, I had one more quick question.
Yeah.
So would it be a good idea for me to hold like because I saw the thing you guys posted in the generosity generation where the dude held like 190 open houses in a year.
Yes.
And so I'm gonna watch that today.
It was in 190 days. It wasn't in a year.
Oh, 100 and 190
It was,
days.
no, it was 190 in 190 days.
Oh, okay.
He had
Wow.
an open house every day. So,
Okay.
so the answer is yes, you should be having an open house every weekend for sure. Saturday and
Okay.
Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah. Like Brandon said, you're asking the right questions, which is
Okay.
great, right? What,
All right,
what should
thank
I
you.
be doing every day is a question that everybody here should be answering as the new year starts. What are we adding? And just so you know, as part of certified referral agent, I actually give you, whoever takes CRA, I give you the edge, which is every day go execute edge. And the edge is a series of things that every agent should do every day. So the first one is MLS hot sheet. As those that you were in
Okay.
November, I mean, I look at the MLS hot sheet in Kansas City every day. What the heck? I'm in Marietta, Georgia, but it's
Right.
like I stay on top of the market. I probably know the
Yeah.
market better than 60% of the agents in Kansas
I
City.
believe you. No, I believe you 100%. From the people I met.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Lynn and Brandon are the last two questions, and then we're going to wrap up.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to try to bullet point because I got a few things to talk about here. So
Can you
one,
raise your hand again, Lynn? So that you're at the
no, I
top of the
put it
screen for
down.
everybody.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
I had to like go and hunt you down, find you.
There we go.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so after the one-on-one mastery, I started my focus this month is one-on-ones. I did my first stack last Thursday.
Congrats.
And I'm trying to, I'm new here, so I don't know anybody. So I'm trying to reach up. I met with somebody that is the chair of a BNI group. He was phenomenal. Like, I need to know this guy and I need to know everybody that he knows.
All right, hold a second. Two things. Number one, what made him phenomenal? What made him phenomenal?
I loved his energy.
Yep.
I loved his really wanting to help. I loved his integrity. I loved his passion to be great at what he does. Like everything that I am, he was in male form.
Yeah. And he's probably in growth mode. Would you agree?
Yes.
Like learning and asking questions and just super interested and really interested in helping you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we need to all remember that, right? Get into growth mode and get your energy up when you meet for these one-to-ones and love that. So yeah.
Yep. So, so that was, I took your advice and I did 1 hour, which you probably already know about me. I don't do 1 hour one-on-ones. I do long one-on-ones because I really want to get to know the person. So he was my first one. And then the next one walked in, and when she walked by, she waved at me and he saw me look the other way. And I said, I'm sorry, I have another one-on-one. And he did know that going in. Like, I told him I'm doing one-on-ones. I have a time slot open. Can you come? But then he like closed his stuff up really fast. And I said, no, I said, you don't have to leave abruptly. We can finish our conversation here while she gets her coffee. I want to meet with him again, and I don't know how to start that conversation. I sent him a card.
333, right? Text him, email him, write your handwritten note, put the PS, and text me when you get this. When he texts you, then you're going to set up the next meeting, right? And I would have like an idea of the reason for the meeting, right? Like you want to, I mean, did you learn what his ideal client is or how best to refer him?
He's a home inspector.
Yeah.
And he does all over the whole state of South Carolina.
Yeah.
I feel like
his name wasn't Preston, was it?
No, Harold.
Okay.
But anyway, I did send the card out. I sent the card the next day. He has referred 2 people to me. One of them I've already used and have closed business with. And he's introducing me to someone who is the manager of a country club for my first event here, my second event. This will be a big one.
Yeah, that guy's an awesome contact, right? So I think I think you can either make sure you're at an event that he's at, right? Chamber event, BNI event, or whatever it is. I think you need to have another interaction with him. Maybe it's not a one-to-one, right?
Okay.
Maybe it's at your event. Maybe it's at his event. Maybe it's at a joint event. It sounds like he's a networking fiend, right? He's going to be out there networking. So, and then, as an inspector, one of the best things you can do is, a lot of people around you don't know that they should probably have inspections on their homes every 5 to 10 years anyway, even without selling. So you
That
could
is-
actually send that out to your daughter, son-in-law, right? Is that what it is? You
Son-
could send it out to their database that, would you want an off-market inspection, right? And maybe you talk to him about doing them for half price or doing them for 3/4 price, because there's not the pressure of a real estate transaction hanging over his head.
I love that idea.
The other
Thank
thing you could do is say, hey, listen, text me when you get this. And he texts you or calls, and you have the call and you go, hey, listen, I would like to have you as part of my next event as a sponsor, but you don't need to pay anything, but I would like you to make a certificate up for a, free home inspection, or a $50 home inspection or something like that. Right. And just have a conversation with him about, and you could even pay the $50 for the home inspection. So I think there's things that you could do with them that you could really partner in the future. Anybody that's high energy networking like that, he's a business developer. And guess what? We need to partner with business developers. So you need to get them involved in your events for sure.
Okay.
Lots of
love that idea
opportunities there.
with
He's
you
already
for
referring
sure.
you.
Pardon?
He's already referring you.
Yeah.
He's a
Yeah,
connector.
he's awesome. Okay, next subject. So my question is, do I extend it to an hour and a half, or do I
No.
keep it at an hour?
Keep
Okay,
it at an hour.
okay,
But here's the thing, like you just said, I mean, you don't want to talk about everything, right? You just want to talk about like enough stuff to get, and you're asking questions, right? So they're talking the whole time. And, I think you want to keep the energy high. So you're going to see even a guy like that runs out of energy after an hour.
okay,
So I'd keep him to an hour, and I would make sure to prevent it from yourself, which is why the whole networking stack was invented. And then I found all the benefits, was to prevent me from talking for a damn hour and a half or two and extending it. I always had somebody after him. I let them know, hey, listen, I've got the noon to 1 spot open. Right.
thank you. Okay, next question
Oh my
is,
gosh, Lynn, you're killing me.
I'm
Brandon is
sorry,
over here
you said
patiently
bring up
awaiting.
questions.
All right, I'll answer it in one word. What's your next question?
Finding a home in that, I posted it in yesterday, finding a home in a very, not a school district, but a certain school. There's nothing available. If she wants a condo and there's nothing available in that school.
Well, first of all, that's very specific. Condo in a
I
school
know.
district. So I am going to find those projects, those condominium projects, or the neighborhoods, if you want to call it that. And I am going to figure out ways to communicate with the people at that place, right? If you looked on MLS for old sales, you're going to be able to find old sales in that condo complex that match up with your buyer's criteria. And I would write them a handwritten note, and I would use the one in November. Would you be willing to sell your home at this address to a prospect of mine? Right. And then put, it's a real prospect who wants this district, right? This school district.
Okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
then I will make this quick. Please do mastermind with that open house video, the podcast. I am on fire about all of that. Like, it was so awesome. And I totally see that as another way for me to break in here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You're going to build your network with people who are interested in buying. So yeah, you don't have to do it every day, but you can do it every weekend, so good stuff. All right, Brandon, thank you for your patience and would love to hear your question.
You're welcome. Thanks. So going through a lot of the podcasts, and at one point in passing, you said something like, I wasn't always this person that was proactive, that was calendaring, et cetera. And so I'm just curious, what's your journey from what were you like before versus, and then what's your journey to what you're like now, the 10-second version or whatever you have time for? I know meet up. I think that would help that part of that journey.
Yep.
And then also power notes. So admiring something. Hey, I admire that you're proactive to the people that you're meeting up with, right? But what's your journey story from that person you were before to who you are now?
Well, essentially early on, I was like most beginning agents. I didn't have a clue. I was disorganized, and I was just like looking to figure out what I was doing. And when I started out, I didn't understand the power of generosity and giving. I was actually giving to get. Well, over time, what happened was I got more organized because I hung out with more organized people. And I rapidly figured things out because I practiced a lot. I practiced on contracts until I had contracts. And I got the opportunity because of my first few housewarming parties. I got to practice on real people early on too. So there were a lot more at stake. I had 37 transactions in my first year. So 87 in the second, 187 in the third, 205 in the fourth, and 255 in the fifth. So got to practice on a lot of real people. But the other thing too is I just had a thirst for learning. And when I met people, I was asking questions because I actually asked questions selfishly to learn about how to be more successful. Well, they loved it. And then I would let them know. I took copious notes, and then I would let them know when their advice helped me win, helped me be better. When resilience was a key and somebody told me that resilience was the key, I told the person that said, hey, listen, you said resilience was the key. I just had a really tough deal where I followed up with somebody for 4 months. They finally got pre-approved. They finally got in the home. You said resilience was the key. And guess what? It helped me get a new client. I just wanted to say thank you. Well, that person, Don is his name, turned in, he gave me like 5 more referrals, So I think that whole methodology of just being a lifelong learner listen, there's nothing more attractive than growth. Be in growth mode, stay in growth mode, and just always be in growth mode. Hope that helps. And how am I now? I'm very loving, very generous, very appreciative, super organized. And I also hire to my weaknesses. I have somebody who reads all my email and filters through all my email. I do not read email. And I've hired to the things that I hate to do. So they do them, or Sherry does them, to be honest. And I do the things that I love to do. And that's kind of the plan. Right? Sherry handles my personal schedule 100%. I literally very rarely schedule anything on there for my personal stuff. And Tracy handles my professional schedule 100%. I very rarely schedule things because I did it twice last year, and both times they ended up double freaking scheduled, and we ended up having to make amends. And I just learned right there that I'm going to funnel everything through those two. So
super helpful.
I'm a lot better looking now too, just so you know, Brandon. I mean, I used to be.
I was about to say that.
I used to be okay looking and good looking, and now I'm just ridiculously good looking. So, I had to. The only way to be successful in real estate, Brandon, is to be ridiculously good looking, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
Isn't that podcast number 330, Michael's skincare routine, maybe?
I think it was number 1, 2, and 3. I think it was skincare 1 above the shoulders, skincare 2, shoulders to waist, and then skincare 3. So no, what I love about it is by implementing this system on love, generosity, and appreciation, we really help beautiful people be beautiful to the world, right? The beautiful that people see the beautiful person instead of the desperate, pushy salesperson that so many others are advocating. I literally went off in lab coat agents this morning they said they went to an event and they learned that realtors should essentially lie, cheat, steal, and, annoy people. And it's like, wow, if that's what you learned, I'm sorry, that's what you learned. But I truly believe that we can do it through love, generosity, and appreciation. Sound good?
Awesome. Thank you.
My pleasure. That's such a big question with 1 minute left. It's like, how are you different? It's like, how am I the same? So All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate this has been a very awesome jam session. I love that you came with questions. You were ready to go. You asked great questions. You guys absolutely loaded up the chat window, and I appreciate that as well. Hopefully you learned something today, and you guys want to do this again in next month? You guys want to do this again next month? Right? Give me a thumbs up if you want to do it again next month. Right? So 3 of you, that's all I needed was a little bit of positive reinforcement. So everybody, I appreciate all of you. Have a great, remember, it's National Quitters Week, not for us, right? We're going to keep going, keep moving, keep shaking, keep growing, and keep going up. So you guys rock. We'll see you in the group, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.